Well, welcome. I'm excited to have author Liz Johnson with me. Liz, it's nice to meet you.
You too.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Anytime. Okay, I want to give a little note about your books. It says on your website, I love books filled with humor, heart, and happily ever afters.
Yes.
Sold.
Yes.
You sold me.
Right? I mean, doesn't that just like speak to like hope and to happiness and joy? And I think in our world that's filled with a lot of not that, sometimes it's just so refreshing to escape a little bit and go to places where it's safe and happy and filled with joy. And yeah, you may face struggles and trials, but you know that there's going to be, you're going to overcome those and have opportunity to experience joy.
That is why I love to read, is to escape reality, or watch TV. I don't like watching reality TV. I want non-reality.
Yes.
And a happily ever after.
Exactly.
Nice. All right, so this is the first time we've gotten to meet and talk to each other, so why don't you tell me a little about yourself?
Sure. Well, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I grew up mostly in Arizona. My family moved there when I was 10, and so I'm kind of an Arizona girl, but I didn't love it there, so I moved around a lot, and I have worked in marketing and publicity for the last 20 years and love that. And my day job is as a marketing director for a nonprofit in the Phoenix area, and I love doing that. It's great work, and I sort of think of my life as like nonfiction by day and fiction by night. And I'm the aunt to 5 wonderful nieces and nephews, and I love them, and I love being an aunt, and it's so fun to spoil them and then send them back to their parents.
Nice. Yes, that's the nice thing about being. Well, we say aunt around here.
Okay.
But yes. That's the nice thing about that. Yeah.
Yes.
So, your books. Mm-hmm. Give me a little description of what you have out so far.
Yeah. So I write mostly contemporary romance. I started off writing actually romantic suspense, and I wrote 10 romantic suspense books for Love-Inspired Suspense. And then I moved into more just contemporary romance, just straight up romance with no suspense, just lots of like heart and joy, but also like going to my favorite places. So most of my books are set on Prince Edward Island in Canada, which is the home of Anne of Green Gables. Okay. And I have been there 6 times, and I love it, and I keep going back because I love it so much. And the first time I went, I just felt like it was a place where people could find healing. And I had been struggling with panic attacks and things like that at that time. And so when I went there, it was like I could take a deep breath for the first time in years. And it just felt like God could meet me there. Like it was really quiet, it was really peaceful, and it was like God was like, I could feel him there. And I needed that in my life at that time. And so I just decided that PEI was a place that broken hearts could find healing, and that's what I wanted to write. So that's been a lot of my books have been set on Prince Edward Island, broken people finding healing and love along the way.
Hey, I like it. I always like to read about broken people and that they are redeemed at the end. It's like, oh God, there is hope for me.
Right. Yes, it's like God's not going to leave us in our brokenness, right? Like he's going to bring us out of that. Yeah. And that to me is like, it's such the joy of writing and reading Christian fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you decide what kind of what's the word I'm looking for? But what kind of maybe drama that they're going to go through in the story? How do you determine that?
Oh, that's a great question. I think a lot of the themes in my books come from what God is teaching me at that time as I'm writing it. And so sometimes I'll find that God is just really teaching me and reminding me like that he is with me while I'm going through struggles. And so sometimes those struggles are like, doesn't matter what's going on in the book, it's like, oh, God is reminding me that he is always with me, so whatever they're going through. And sometimes it's really, like, it'll be really, really personal. And so, for example, I was writing a book and I had decided that the main character's mother was going to pass away. And then as I was writing the book, my dad had a massive heart attack, and he survived. Praise God, he lived through that. He has a pacemaker now, and he's doing well. That was over 5 years ago, and so he's doing very well now. but as I was writing the book, I was like, I cannot write about a parent who passes away. That's too much for me. But instead, it sort of turned into this story of a young woman whose mother is dealing with a terminal illness, and she will always deal with this, but it's going to take a long time. And so the daughter kind of has to struggle with, like, how do I invest in a relationship that I know can't last? Like, I know that she's not going to be with me forever, and it's easier for me to pull back. It's easier for me to say, like, I don't want to invest in this relationship, even with my own mom, because it's going to be hard. It's going to break my heart. And that's how I felt with my dad after his heart attack. I just thought, I'm going to lose him at some point. Do I really dive deep into this relationship, or do I say it'll hurt me less if I put some distance between us? And that's a really hard thing to sort of, as a daughter, to be like, I'm acknowledging that I had this thought and then I feel terrible about that. But at the end of the day, after praying about it, and I just felt like God was really just saying, like, I don't want to have any regrets. And so if I invest in that relationship with my dad, I won't have regrets when he is gone, because I know I won't have him forever. Like, none of us are promised tomorrow, right? And so it really, I think that was like one of those books that, as I was writing it, I was really wrestling with, how am I going to deal with this relationship? I love my dad so much, and I just thought, I don't want to regret my time when he is gone. And so so that book was called Beyond the Tides, and it was very much just that sort of struggle of, like, how do I deal with this relationship that I know I can't have her forever? And then, of course, we've got a hero that comes in and sort of helps the main character sort of deal with a lot of those emotions and a lot of that pain. And there's a scene in that book where the pastor comes in and just talks about how, like, sometimes love doesn't look like always having the right answers. It just looks like sitting and crying with somebody who's hurting. And I just thought, oh man, that is like my life right now. Is like, at that time, it was like so much pain, so much like just trying to deal with it. But as a family and my friends, like, what I needed was just somebody to sit and cry with me. And I just thought that's what love looks like right now. And so anyway, so that was a hard book to write, but it was one of my favorites now, looking back on it.
I like to ask this question, like, how do you come up with dialogue? Do you do it out loud? Do you find a friend, read it, go through lines? Like, how do you do that?
Dialogue is, I generally have a running dialogue in my head. I'm having conversations with myself and with my characters, which I hope doesn't make me fully crazy, but
I think you're in a good group. Most authors that I ask that, they talk to me.
They're chatting with me. So I feel like I generally have a pretty, like, I'm thinking through the dialogue and I'm saying it from character to character. I'm having their conversations in my head, but every now and then I'll get stuck on something and I'll say, like, oh, this doesn't feel natural, this doesn't feel normal. And so at that point I'll sit and read it out loud, and I'll say, oh, how would somebody say this in a more natural way? And sometimes I do ask my friends, and I'm like, guys, this doesn't feel right. What do you think?
Sure.
But mostly they're just all talking in my head anyways. So
that's all right. Like I said, I think you're in good company there.
Okay,
so I've been asking everybody this, why do you choose Jesus? Because there's lots of religions you could choose. No religion. Why him?
That's such a good question. My dad asked me the other day. He said, "When did you first feel like you really knew Jesus?" And I was like, "I feel like I'm learning more about him every day," and I think that's kind of the crux for me, is that he is alive, and every other religion, every other faith was founded and grounded in somebody who's dead. And Jesus is alive. And my pastor was talking recently about how, sort of analogies of our faith in Jesus, and how people talk about, oh, I was swimming and drowning and I needed somebody to save me. And he said, no, it's like you're dead in the bottom of the ocean and he comes and brings you back to life. And I was like, yes, that is it. That for me is like, that is what I needed. And it's what I continuously need. It's like, I was dead in sin. And I continuously need him to keep making me alive. And he does. He's so faithful to do that. And I think that, we are witnesses and testifying to what he does, right? Like that's what we're called to do, is to share what he's done in our lives. And the more I've looked at my years in my life, I just I see him at work in all these areas, and I'm just like, yeah, he's so faithful to be at work, and I'm just so thankful for that. So that's why I choose Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today
Yeah.
and being on the show, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Of course.
and
Thank you
good
so
luck
much.
with the rest of your books and
Thank
your
you.
writing and the voices in your head.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I need that. Oh,
All right.
thank you so much.
Thank you.